Did you know some of the most gifted people, the dreamers, the thinkers, the ones who see more often struggle to act at all? Imagine lying in bed at 2 a.m., overflowing with ideas, and yet doing nothing. Again, you tell yourself, tomorrow. But deep down you know that tomorrow never comes. You want greatness. You feel it inside you. But something invisible holds you still. The paradox? You're ambitious, but motionless. Is it laziness or something deeper? We often think laziness is a flaw of character. But what if it's a symptom of something much more human? What if ambition and inaction aren't opposites but two sides of the same wound? Maybe you're not lazy. Maybe you're grieving. Grieving the version of yourself that never got a chance to live. Grieving the time you've lost. The potential you keep seeing and never touching. And maybe your inaction isn't failure, it's fear. Not of doing, but of not becoming. Of falling short. So here's the real question. Why does this contradiction exist? Why are so many driven people stuck in stillness? You're not alone in this. But to break free, you'll need to understand what's truly holding you. Let's go deeper. Why do so many ambitious people feel paralyzed? Because they were told they could be anything but shown a world where meaning is rare, creativity is punished, and success is reduced to status. That contradiction creates a fracture in the self. Psychologist Carl Jung called it the shadow, the hidden, rejected parts of us that grow in silence. And when we bury pain, confusion, or fear, it doesn't vanish. It lives beneath the surface, shaping our behavior. That's where procrastination often begins. Nietzsche described the abyss between what we are and what we could be. To bridge that gap, we must act. But action requires belief. And belief, real, soul-rooted belief, is hard when you've been conditioned to seek approval, not purpose. We're overwhelmed not because we don't care, but because we care too much. We want what matters, but we fear we'll never reach it. So we freeze, we scroll, we escape. Sartre said, "We're condemned to be free. Every choice is a weight, every dream, a responsibility. And without clear meaning, freedom becomes anxiety." You're not lazy. You're trapped between who you are and who you know you could be but weren't shown how to become. That gap, that's where the pain lives. And it's not just personal. This is a quiet crisis, a modern epidemic. And it has consequences. You don't collapse in a dramatic failure. You fade slowly, silently. This is the real danger of being ambitious but stuck. Not that you fail to act, but that you start believing you never will. And when that belief takes root, you begin to rot from the inside out. The world doesn't warn you. It rewards appearance over substance, busyness over depth. So you keep going through the motions, quietly decaying in a system designed to distract, not awaken. Psychologically, this shapes your brain. Every time you avoid action, your mind rewires. Inaction becomes safety. You're not just delaying, you're teaching yourself that doing nothing is the better choice. Meanwhile, dopamine loops endless, scrolling. Short-term, hits sedate your hunger for meaning. You're not lazy. You're addicted to relief from responsibility. And it gets worse. The longer you stay stuck, the more your identity warps. You stop calling it a phase and start calling it who you are. You say, "I'm just like this." You shrink to fit the mold. And soon, your ambition isn't painful anymore, it's forgotten. But beneath the numbness, something sacred still lives. That ache you feel, it's your real self still awake, still watching. This isn't just procrastination. It's slow spiritual death, and it's everywhere. The good news? If you can feel it, you can still fight it. Breaking free doesn't start with motivation. It starts with rebellion. Not rebellion against others, but against the false self you were trained to perform. You were never lazy. You were surviving a system that taught you to grind, compare, consume, and obey. But now, your stillness is not weakness. It's a quiet protest, a refusal to live without meaning. So don't fix yourself. Reclaim yourself. Start small. Write something without showing anyone. Walk without your phone. Make something just because it feels right. Create without reward. Action doesn't need an audience, it needs alignment. Nietzsche called it the will to power, not dominance, but the courage to shape your own meaning. And meaning doesn't come from results. It comes from who you become through the struggle. Shift from chasing productivity to building identity. Act like someone who is awakening, and over time, your brain will catch up. Your actions shape your belief, not the other way around. This rebellion is not loud. It's not glamorous. It's not optimized. It's quiet, slow, sacred. And it begins when you stop waiting for permission and start listening to the fire inside you. Don't move to be productive. Move to stay alive. You were never lazy. You were grieving the distance between who you are and who you're meant to become. That ache inside you, the guilt, the restlessness, the shame, it's not failure. It's memory. A deep, unconscious part of you remembers a life with meaning, a life you haven't lived yet. And your stillness? It's not apathy. It's grief in disguise. You care so much, it paralyzes you. The truth is, your potential doesn't die in one moment. It dies slowly. Every time you convince yourself it's safer not to try. But that's not the end, because the fire is still there. Even buried, even dim, it lives. And the moment you move even slightly, even scared, it grows. You don't need to become something new. You need to return to something real, to your curiosity, your truth, your quiet, persistent inner voice. You don't need a strategy. You need a moment of courage. Because behind all your inaction isn't weakness. It's the refusal to live a life that means nothing. So this is your awakening. Start, not because you feel ready. Start because your soul remembers who you are. You are not lazy. You are awakening.